Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going on a journey, but not outward to the stars. Nope, we're going inward to explore a practice that comes with a really powerful claim: spinal breathing pranayama.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Out of the entire vast world of yoga, with all of its techniques and traditions, this one practice is called the most important. Now that's a seriously bold statement, and it kind of makes you ask, what in the world is it, and what makes it so special?
Yeah, it's been called powerful, maybe even secret knowledge, hidden away for ages. So let's pull back that curtain, shall we? Let's find out what's really going on here.
Okay, so before we can really wrap our heads around the technique itself, we've got to start with the fundamentals. You know, the relationship between your breath, this idea of a life force, and, well, you. So the first big idea we need to get is prana. It's the Sanskrit word for the universal life force. You can think of it as the smart foundational energy that doesn't just animate living things, but actually makes up everything. You know that feeling you get sometimes, that little nudge inside that asks, hey, is there something more to all this? Well, according to this, that feeling is prana. It's that core energy stirring inside of you.
Okay, so if prana is the electricity, then pranayama is basically learning how to be the electrician. It literally translates to restraint of prana, but what it really means is using your breath to consciously grow and guide that life force inside your own nervous system. It's about learning to steer your own inner energy.
And look, don't let this sound super complicated. The best analogy is that it's just like driving a car, right? You don't need to be a master mechanic. You don't have to understand the engine at all. You just use these really simple controls, the gas pedal, the steering wheel, to command this incredibly complex machine. Pranayama works the same way. It's a simple breathing technique that lets you influence your own incredibly complex neurobiology.
All right, theory's great, but let's get to the good stuff. How do you actually do this thing? Let's break down the technique step by step.
Honestly, the practice itself is wonderfully simple. First, you just sit somewhere comfortably, close your eyes, and let your breathing slow way down. Just find a nice, easy pace that works for you. Now, the real heart of it is this. You imagine a tiny little nerve, almost like a thin tube or a thread, running all the way from the base of your spine, that's the root, all the way up to that spot right between your eyebrows, the brow or third eye.
So here's the core mechanic. This is what you're actually doing. You're pairing your attention with your breath. As you breathe in, you let your focus travel up that little nerve, from the root all the way to your brow. And then, as you breathe out, your attention just glides right back down from your brow to the root. Inhale up, exhale down. That's it. You just keep that easy, rhythmic cycle going.
So, if you're going to give this a try, here are a few simple guidelines. Aim for about 5 minutes, twice a day. A great time is right before you meditate. And because it's all happening on the inside, you can pretty much do this anywhere without anyone noticing. Now, your mind is absolutely going to wander. That's just what minds do. When it happens, no big deal, just gently bring your attention back. The goal here is ease, not strain. Never, ever strain.
Okay, so like any real journey, you're going to hit some interesting terrain along the way. It's not always going to be a smooth, paved road. So let's talk about how to navigate what you might feel or experience as you practice.
So, a really common thing people ask is, hey, this feels kind of weird, or even a little hard. Am I messing this up? And the answer is a resounding, no, not at all.
It is totally normal to feel a little awkwardness or even some resistance. It's exactly like learning to ride a bike, right? You're going to wobble. Think of these feelings of resistance as, well, old knots in your nervous system. And this practice is starting to gently untie them. The key is you don't fight them. You don't try to force your way through. As you breathe, you just let your attention gently stroke right past them. And over time, they just dissolve.
And this brings us to what might be the most important skill of all, self-pacing. You are always, always in the driver's seat. If things ever start to feel too intense or just uncomfortable, you have this built-in safety valve. All you do is shorten your practice time, back it off until things feel calm and stable again. You are in control.
And this right here, this explains why that specific path, from the root up to the brow, is so critical. That brow point, the ajna center, It acts like a natural stabilizer for your whole system. By sending the energy there first, instead of, say, shooting it straight up to the crown of your head, you're ensuring a much more balanced, safe, and gradual opening. It's how you avoid those big, unstable energy surges that can cause problems.
Okay, so we've got the technique, we know how to handle the bumps in the road, but where are we going? What's the destination? Let's zoom out and look at the incredible possibilities that this practice can apparently unlock.
So the ultimate journey here is about bringing together two powerful and seemingly opposite qualities. On one hand, you have ecstasy, which is cultivated through pranayama. It's a dynamic, moving, vibrant energy. On the other hand, you have bliss, which comes from deep meditation. And that's all about profound, unmoving inner silence. It's the marriage of movement and stillness. So the first big step on this path is what's called ecstatic conductivity. And what that really means is your nervous system literally gets better at conducting this more refined inner energy. People describe it as this really pleasant, almost electric sensation, like your whole body is just lighting up from the inside, connecting everything in an instant. Okay, so once that conductivity is established, the whole process evolves into the next stage, ecstatic radiance. And this is so cool. Just like an electrical wire generates a magnetic field around it, this powerful inner energy you've cultivated starts to radiate beyond you. Your inner state begins to have a real, tangible, positive influence on the world around you. And this all leads to the final stage, which is described as an outpouring of divine love. This is where the magic happens. It's where those two opposites we talked about, that dynamic, ecstatic energy and that deep, silent bliss, they finally come together. They get married, and their union is said to just flow out of you, completely effortlessly, as pure love, compassion, and a genuine desire to be of service. So, if you wanted to boil all of that incredible potential down to its essence, you'd be left with two powerful words. The first is freedom, a deep, profound, unshakable inner freedom. And the second is giving. A capacity for effortless compassion that just pours out of you because you're already full.
And that really is the beautiful paradox of it all, isn't it? The journey into inner space is what actually allows you to have the biggest possible impact on the world outside of you. By going within, you unlock your ability to shine outward. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. What could you unlock by starting that journey?